So anyway, yes, I have had just a weird 24 hours, which we're going to get into. You're probably going to notice a few things if you're a fan of the work, for example. You're probably going to notice that the latest episode of By the Numbers on YouTube is heavily disliked. You're probably going to notice lots of comments in Russian. And you're probably thinking, why is that? Right? You know, lots of questions. You're probably going to notice all day on my Twitter feed, I've been subject to death threats and rape threats, bizarrely, because I think there's a lot of closeted, aggressive men in Russia that really need to deal with some stuff psychologically, but instead have gravitated towards esports and are taking it out on me. Anyway. Let's start at the beginning, as always, with every good story. And there'll be other content. This isn't going to be the whole stream, but I imagine it will make up a significant portion of the stream. So, I do this podcast with a guy called Duncan Thorin Shields. You might have heard of him. He's the esports historian. Me, I don't know. Who am I? Just an award-winning journalist, Emmy-nominated, host of an Emmy-nominated American TV show, recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award in esports. Just a small fish, really. No one important. You don't need to worry about me. And we do this podcast, and we've been doing it for years. And we basically talk about Counter-Strike, and we talk about it in a pretty raw kind of way. We do it in the tradition of great sports radio, sports talk radio. Hang on. That's silly thing to get banned over, but okay. Anyway, yeah. So we do it in the finest tradition of, sports talk radio, which is we keep it raw, we keep it passionate. We express opinions in a no bullshit kind of way, and we use our information and our connections to try and make what can be very opaque, like the processes behind teams, behind roster recruitment, behind contract negotiations, whatever it is. We try and make it more transparent for the average fans. We have broken stories on the podcast. We've left like trails of breadcrumbs for developments there for fans to find. People very often go, wow, they just said this on By the Numbers last week and it came true. Fucking crazy. So I didn't consider the last episode to be anything beyond the norm. Like, it's a regular show. That, to me, was a regular show of what By the Numbers was about. It was slightly longer than usual, but, that was about it, really. So, anyway, I did the show, and there was a segment where we talked about Na'Vi, probably the biggest org in the CIS region. And definitely the most affluent. We talked about Na'Vi and kind of the situation they were in, which is, they are a team that has the best player in the world right now in, red hot form. And he is surrounded by, decent players. And they've got a coach who has a very big reputation in the region. And they've had him since 2019, and yet they finished 5th to 6th at a tournament where other teams from the CIS region were finishing above them. Indeed, Gambit Gaming, a team that has a younger IGL, a team that has less experience on the roster, and I suppose it's arguable less talent. They were able to win the competition, outright. So we did a whole bit where we're like, look, here's some things that probably need to be said. Flamey steals checks. And let's be real, I don't even think you'd find a diehard Na'Vi fan that doesn't agree with that now. Can you tell me, he pops off one every 10, 20 maps, and that's it, right? And they've even had to bring in a guy that plays for him on a couple of maps, because the acknowledgement is there that Flamey isn't really good enough anymore. And he hasn't been for years. Now, where we went into different territory was we started talking about the history of the team. And we started saying, listen, Zeus, who was the former IGL, who was fucking absolute dead weight, one of the worst IGLs in terms of fragging that I've ever seen play in sort of like the last few years in CSGO. I mean, absolute garbage. Also, a piece of shit as a person. Like a self-serving narcissist, a self-serving greedy narcissist as well. And I can say all of these things because of manifest observable behavior down the years. And he came up with a strategy where they said, we can't keep carrying you. We would literally be better off with a bot. Like, no joke. It would outfrag you. And so we're going to have to get somebody else in, probably an IGL. And he came up with the plan. Well, I'm amazing me because I'm Zeus, the greatest guy of all time. So you need my brain, just put in another body, essentially. Let me pick somebody who's completely not like me in any way, and I will groom him to be the IGL. I will turn him and develop him into a talented in-game leader. And that guy was Boomich, right? And he stuck around, and in the end, they just said, like, Zeus, you just need to fuck off, really. And Boomich isn't a great in-game leader. He's barely one at all. I don't think he's a bad player. I think as an IGL, I think he absolutely sucks. I really cannot stand it anymore, and I can't pretend anymore. Some players are just not cut out for it. And it's not bias. Like, you're going to get into a lot of people, oh, you just hate the CIS region. Been saying for 2 years it's the strongest region in World Counter-Strike. Done multiple videos praising it. But, you know, and I've said it about dear friends, you know, guys like MBK, who I've known since they were kids, known since they started in esports. I don't think he should be in IGL. I think I'm going to be interviewing him soon. I'm going to say it to his face. You know, we're going to have a discussion about that. I think it'll be interesting. So, not everyone can do it. Right? It's a very hard role. You need to command respect from people. You need to be able to communicate effectively. You need to come up with your own ideas. And when things are tough, you need to show you got a backbone and you can, you know, make a hard decision in a very stressful moment. I don't see Boomich as having any of those qualities, really. You know, he's just a guy who can regurgitate a playbook. And let's also be honest, Na'Vi aren't a great tactical team when you watch them. Now, that was a criticism I put on Boomich. But let's also be real. They were meant to have this amazing tactical system since Blade came in. Blade's joined in 2019 and became a coach. I don't think he was a coach originally, but he became a coach in 2019 shortly after, around about then. And so I won't even judge him on 2019. I'll judge him on 2020. Very streakish, up and down. The high point for them was Katowice at the start of the year. And here we are, you know, Q1 in the books now, almost, of 2021, and then no further forward as a team. So we also criticised Blade. I said, you know, what does he really do? They make elementary mistakes all of the time. I mean, not occasionally. I mean, all of the time. When you watch Na'Vi, you know you're going to see them every map lose 2-3 rounds by poor clock management. You just know you're going to see that. So what great coaching has Blade brought to the table in a year if they're no further forward? I'm sorry, this is sports. You get criticised for that. So we did the segment, and honestly, out of all of the segments in the show, I thought that was the least disagreeable. I think there was probably these other bits people could have had an issue with. Some people tried to get me cancelled over teeing off on that guy over the Lazio Roma thing. I was sort of a bit ashamed that I lost my temper. You're going to understand why I do lose my temper very often with the wrong people in chat. It's not because they've said anything egregious. It's because they're the 1,001st people that day that said something mildly irritating. So you'll see why. And no, you shouldn't encourage that. That guy was a 17-month sub, and we've talked privately, and he's a big supporter of my work. He's been following me for years. He's a guy in his 30s. He's a cool dude, and I shouldn't have done that. So I thought, and people took that clip and tried to get me cancelled over it. But fortunately, live stream fails doesn't cover things like that anymore. It just covers GTA roleplay, doesn't it? So we're fine. We were safe. So, also, I thought maybe the Smooya thing. People seem to have sympathy for chavs because they've not been served a particularly great lot in life, have they? So, I thought maybe that might blow up, right? But no, that didn't blow up either. So we ended up with no, as I saw it, no perceivable drama, right? But a few things happened, okay? And I'm going to just do them in no particular order. Why don't we start with making the news? So that segment, this is why when, you criticize teams, certain big, powerful esports teams, this is why people don't do it. Because it's considered newsworthy. Like, how dare he criticize Na'Vi? Yeah, like, how fucking dare I? Like, if I really want to get into it, we could talk about the fucking corruption, some of the shit they've been involved with, going back to ES Force, going back to before that, honestly, all the way back in 1.6. I mean, if I really wanted to call these cunts out, I'd be talking about your paper, not your players. But, Anyway, The reality is, there was 6 articles. I'll show you a couple of them, because the rest are in Russian and it's a mess. But I'll read you the headlines, okay? Right? And you'll understand now why the stream is titled what it is. So, it was only 5 articles, not 6. So, Richard Lewis, Zeus has chosen Boomich as his successor to rob Na'Vi for an extended period of time. That's one way of, representing what I said, I suppose. Another one, Richard Lewis, Blade out of Na'Vi. There was a different version of it on another website. Richard Lewis, fuck you, Blade. Get out of Na'Vi. That was a bit stronger, that one. Which also in another one was get out of Na'Vi ! The British analyst criticized the Ukrainian coach. And then we had this one, which was the head of Na'Vi on the criticism of Richard Lewis. I hope this expert will be appointed as the next Cloud9 coach. Just invoking Cloud9 for no reason. I don't know why he thinks, A, I've got anything to do with him, B, why that would be appropriate, and C, how's that a burn on me? But you're not dealing with high IQ people here. They run Na'Vi. It's like you are dealing with probably medical cretins. Frankly, given the fact that they've got the best player, they can't even negotiate winning a fucking trophy with that CSGO roster they have. Anyway, let me show you a couple of these articles. Right, and I'll read you. The links on these articles are insane. I sent one to Sam and he was absolutely buckled. Because you won't be able to see the link. You'll just be able to see the story. And yeah, this isn't going to translate, I don't think, in XSplit. So I'll read you the translation. But the link was Richard Lewis, Boomich, Eto, Horosh. Perfect. Anyway, this this article is headlined, Richard Lewis, Zeus chose Boomich as his successor to rob Na'Vi for a long time. Then it's my quote. Journalist Richard Lewis spoke sharply about Na'Vi captain Kirill Boomich Mikhailov. Why are we pretending that Boomich is a good leader for the team? Nah, it's not like that. He's just the choice of Zeus, who took a player with no experience to rob Na'Vi for a longer time, staying on their contract and receiving a salary. Alex Ferguson once said that Manchester should appoint David Moyes as the head coach of the team. Zeus used the same technique to appoint Boomich as the team captain after his departure. Then, right? That's the news, by the way. That was the news. There was a couple of comments under that. Sometimes Lewis, this was from an account called Kuma, sometimes Lewis, in the absurdity and rudeness of his statements, bypasses even Thorin. There you go, Duncan. I'm ruder than you, mate. How does it feel? I've took your crown. In the CIS region, any analyst would be destroyed for such statements. Yeah, that's not a good thing, is it, you fucking dickhead? Have you lived so long under Putin's boot that you've forgotten that, like, freedom of expression and being able to express opinions, especially about something as trivial as competitive fucking video games, is a good thing? You fucking mug. Then, there was a reply underneath. Yes, they are $2 whores. Yes, they are $2 whores who do not call anywhere, especially the bald one. So they sit together on their show and pour slop on everyone. Then, in an article that the link for is Richard Loyes or Na'Vi commander Nozinho Viziat Nalrom Trenera Chelovica. This article here, 2 articles, same website. I was really popular. Richard Lewis, fuck you, Blade. Get out of Na'Vi, that's what that says. Their journalist and Richard Lewis criticised Na'Vi coach Andre Blade Gorodensky. Boomich has been suffering for the second year as a team captain. Na'Vi called Blade to help him, but it doesn't work. If you've ever tried to do a shitty fake and went to a bomb site without a single grenade 10 seconds before the end of the round, then you are most likely trained by Blade. How did this man with such a lousy reputation get a place on Na'Vi? He never played for Na'Vi, and he represented Flipside, the most boring and terrible team that ever played CSGO. After all, fuck you, Blade. This is a sick joke. Get out of Na'Vi. The team needs to take on the role of a coach from a person who understands this, and there are lots of them in the CIS region. All teams from this region right now are showing an excellent level of play, except for Na'Vi. It hurts me to see how simple is wasting time working with such people. Earlier in the show, Richard spoke about how players spend half their time playing Valorant. It's just how the article ends. Now, by the way, those opinions are fucking legit. Like, those are actually just legit opinions. There's nothing wrong with those opinions. Like that, those are all valid. I'm sure fans must have said similar things, right? So, anyway, it was percolating. Because what you're going to find out if you work a little bit in esports, and I've worked a little bit in esports, is every fandom on the internet, and in particular esports fandoms, are fucking mental. They're just deranged. They're out of control. No one can stop them. No one even attempts to stop them because there is a economic factor to it. They're deranged in their loyalty to the point they will threaten to kill a journalist for saying, Yeah, that coach hasn't done a particularly good job, has he? But they're so deranged, they will also turn up and religiously watch their team, which means money and revenue and everything else. So essentially, a big part of the business model of esports is relying on mentally disturbed fans from all across the world who are over-invested in video games. And without this, can we even function as a business? Probably not. Sad reality. So they are deemed a necessary evil. Not one I will indulge, but one people will indulge. That's why you end up with Gaules as a foreign streamer, the Portuguese language streamer on almost every broadcast. Despite the fact that some of the shit he's done has led to diabolical real-life consequences. No biggie. As long as the viewership's right, who gives a fuck? It's esports, baby. That number at the bottom dictates everything we do. It's why companies lie about it. It's why Activision Blizzard are trying to gaslight you. No, viewership is really up on the Overwatch League. See, if you just carry the 2 and crunch this and turn that into X and then include these Chinese numbers, all of a sudden, it's a nonsense. The whole business is a fucking nonsense. So, let's get to the next part of this unbelievable story. So, there were a few Russians that read those articles who didn't like that opinion. Na'Vi fans, mostly. But then, you see, there is a guy called Vilat. Now, Vilat is known for mostly his Dota casting, I would say. And he is also, a guy who has a reputation for leaking things, right? He's like a guy who likes to be... It's not enough he knows the secrets, he has to leak the secrets. He's got to be the center of attention, essentially. And that's fine. And what's interesting is I'd actually met Villa. I'd totally forgotten because he's a fucking personality vacuum. And I'd totally forgotten we'd actually met at a poker tournament in France and had a beer together. So imagine that he's met me in real life. He's had a drink and we've had ostensibly a good time. And I've forgotten him. Fair enough. But, we've at least met in real life and had a drink. And this is a guy who fucking has praised my work. But it was a bridge too far that I criticized Na'Vi. Can you imagine working in this business and being a legitimate fanboy of a team? Do you know how fucked that must make your brain? That would... I remember when people used to accuse Anders of that when he was on Nip TV, and they were like, oh, he's a homer, he's always cheering for Nip, all of this stuff. Right? It was never true. But I can't imagine what it must be like to be like work in this business and like have to critically talk about teams, and you've just got like, the black and yellow ring of Na'Vi round your fucking lips because you can't stop sucking them off. It's wild. How do you do your job? How? What happens when they're playing bad? Like, what do you do? So, Villa is a controversial figure in a lot of ways, and it's not without reason. He said some outrageous stuff, which we'll probably get to, in his career, which, again, it's absolutely staggering, the things he was saying to me, trying to take some moral high ground, the things he said. But not only that, it's like he made up some outrageous lie about me. Now, again, I'm only going to be able to show you the tweet in Russian, so I'll translate it for you. And you can hopefully trust me to read it accurately. So here it is, right? All their funny letters and that. And that tweet says, The hate to the CIS cybersport is transmitted in different ways, including sexually transmitted diseases. That's the first sentence. So there is a weird overtone. I don't know what that is an implication about. There was a lot of homophobic abuse thrown my way. A lot of stuff about, Thorin's my boyfriend, I get fucked by men, I suck dicks, I swallow cum. Glad I've got clips turned off. Really glad I've got clips turned off about now. Right? All of that stuff. Just said at me. Right? Now, obviously, I've been open about being a bisexual dude anyway. So, I mean, I'm not going to play that card. Because even though I'm in the alphabet club, I'll never fucking use that shit. I don't give a fuck. If we end up at a stage where telling someone to suck, I mean, we are there, actually. That's the next fig leaf that's going to fall off, Where telling someone to go suck a dick is actually going to be deemed homophobic hate speech. So, if we get there, I mean, I don't even want to be around. But, I just won't play the card, I just won't do it. But I think, obviously, this is a guy who knows enough about me to know that about me. Probably has heard me say that. He obviously watches my content. He obviously consumes my content. And so he's basically compared me to a sexually transmitted disease, which if you know anything, when they talk about that stuff, there is a homophobic element to it in Russian culture. I know, because this isn't my first rodeo, and I've been on the receiving end of it before. So, he also then goes on to say, Richard Lewis picks up the baton from Thorin and forgets to take his pills in the morning. So now I'm mentally ill and need medication. Why are they so bursting with hatred? P.S. Do you know what unites Richard and Thorin? Correct. They were fired from everywhere. Now, I've obviously replied in there. There's a ton of Russian stuff here. I've replied, hi, you fucking weirdo. Can you tell me where I've been fired from while working in esports, you see? Now, time to clear up a few things, because I think, people seem to be a little bit baffled, and obviously Villat, he appears to be suffering from some sort of brain damage, so let me just, which is sad, so let me just fucking put it all on the table so, we all know what we're talking about. I've never been fired from an esports job. Never. Not once. And this is verifiable. And the one people are going to say is, weren't you fired from DreamHack? And the answer to that, of course, is no, I was not. Let me explain, right? I was a freelancer. I was working DreamHack in 2015. DreamHack's notoriously lax security allowed an absolute cretin who wanted to beat me up because he was too stupid to understand a joke wasn't aimed at his also equally moronic girlfriend. He wanted to come and fight me like a fucking Neanderthal and found out I am a Neanderthal. Security guards watched as he did this. Security guards didn't want to earn their money and stop him. DreamHack staff members stood next to me as he tried to headbutt me and put me in a position where my choice was defend myself or get headbutted. And I'm never going to apologize for it. I probably apologized too much at the time. He was a cunt and he got sat down for being a cunt. The end. Never apologizing for that another day in my life. Because the end result would have been me with a broken nose and people, and I'm not taking that while I'm doing a job. So the fucking end. He fucked with the wrong one. He got sat. Where I'm from, that's just how life goes. Where he's from, he thought, he was going to get a fucking swift one in. And because I'm a games commentator, I was going to cry. No. Fucked with the wrong one, got sat. The end. So, and he makes a cameo in this story as well. Haven't you been embarrassed enough, mate? But anyway, we'll get to that. So, DreamHack tried to fire me. They tried lots of things. They tried to blackmail me into signing an NDA first. That was what DreamHack did first. They said they would still work with me and still hire me if I signed an NDA and agreed to never talk about the incident after Lauder had gone on social media and lied about the incident. And even put Lauder on the phone like he was the fucking banker in Deal or No Deal, calling me from the hotel. I am just worried that you will tell everyone about this and make me look silly. Yeah, I will, mate. Yeah. Yeah. You tried to fight me like an absolute prat. You made a prat of yourself and you got wrecked. Yeah. Yeah. You should live with that eternal shame, you know? So, DreamHack, when they realised I wasn't going to be blackmailed into signing an NDA, and I was telling Lauder to go fuck himself with his nonsense, let's sit on a phone and talk for an hour about it, they realised, right, Richard's not going to play nice. So, they said, you can't finish the broadcast now. It's out of hand. Even though they put a statement out saying everything's fine, it was a bit silly. That was there. It was weird, it was just silly, and we'd all agreed to leave it behind us. No one ever asks these questions. See, there's so many lies about this. No one ever asks, why did DreamHack, Lauder, and me all sign a statement that's still there publicly saying everything was fine, bit silly, it was just a misunderstanding. And then suddenly it was, we won't work with Richard Lewis again, violence has no place at DreamHack. Why did it change? I'll tell you why it changed, because I am not going to be blackmailed by a piece of shit esports company to not talk about how their lack security would have got somebody who wasn't as capable of defending themselves as me assaulted. Yes, I will not play your silly little games for derisory amounts of money. No, I won't. I got too much integrity and too much pride. And then you sent a fucking fat moron onto a twitlonger to try and gaslight the world about what had really happened, when in actual fact, he fell to his knees and cried like a bitch at the sight of violence, and then wrote a fan fiction where he was the hero getting between. He literally wept, a grown man. A grown man fell to his knees and cried because he saw two people have a 3-second altercation. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know what's going on there. And this is 100% true. That's on my eternal soul, by the way. He was screaming, what did you do? What did you do? Tears streaming down his face. You can take that to the fucking bank. So, DreamHack tried to fire me on the spot. Slight problem, it was Facet's event. Wasn't a DreamHack CS tournament, it was Facet's. And so Michaley and James Bardolph, they told DreamHack, it's our event, Richard stays on the show, fuck you. And DreamHack said, it's our building, fuck you. And they had an argument about it, and in the end, Faceit really turned the thumb screws and said, we'll fucking end any partnerships moving forward. We pick the talent, and I got to close out the show. Right? So, didn't get fired from that. Didn't get fired from that, and that's the closest I've come to a firing. Didn't get fired. They realised, I was literally, as I was leaving, as I got on that shitty fucking taxi ride out of Jönköping, the fucking Bible Belt of Sweden, dry as fucking Gandhi's flip-flop, not a fucking decent drop of booze anywhere to be found, right? As I got on that shit fucking ride out of that shit fucking place, I tweeted, I will never work with DreamHack again after that. It's gonna be hard, very hard, because that was my safety at risk. Sure, it was Lauder that time. It could have been a lunatic fan bladed up, and in which case, you know, I ain't Chuck Norris. So they then went on a press offensive, and again, you cannot make these things up. They found the one journalist at PC Gamer who not only loved Dota, but was a massive Alliance fanboy, And he'd interviewed Lauder in the past, and they got him to write this unbelievable one-sided story where he refused to publish my statement in full and also refused to interview any of the witnesses that could have corroborated that, yeah, Lauder was completely the aggressor and essentially assaulted Richard. Because also, people go, well, he didn't assault you if he didn't make contact. You step into my personal space and threaten me, that is assault in almost every Western country. So assault can be harsh language, by the way, guys. So, yeah. So, anyway, not fired is the long and the short. Not fired. After that, I went to America. I worked at E-League. Was there for 2 years. Slightly over, if you include all the road show and that. I left. I left to make money. Not because I weren't making money at E-League, because it was a 6-figure salary, but I went to a company that doubled my salary, and as I said, I got to work with Bruce Buffer. Not fired from E-League. They put a press release out saying we're super sad to see him go. We wanted to keep him. Richard and there's a statement out there. I want to explore other challenges in esports. When I made this company WSOE. WSOE comes around. Now you know I didn't get fired from that. I left to make more money. And then got wrecked by a tech startup and had to leave America straight into a job as editor-at-large at Certo, like practically the week I touched down on UK soil. And I don't think that story's going to end with me being fired either. So, along the way, I quit going to events. I stopped being a host. A lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people think it's because I don't get asked to do events, or I wasn't setting a high standard, or people have moved on to the younger generation, whatever. That isn't what happened. I stopped going because I was getting threatened by lunatics like this. And, you know, when I do invariably get capped, I want it to be over something important. Not some mentally ill person who's obsessed with video games coming out of a crowd. You know, I want it to be someone that matters. So, after 2 years, by the way, essentially, of having a security detail, 2 years, and think about as well, the Boston Major, one of the high points of my career, completely ruined because I couldn't do fan interactions, because Turner's corporate security wouldn't let me because we'd received a credible threat of murder. And, you know, a convicted felon said he was coming to Boston to shoot me in the head. Like, what, you know, what do you want me to do? Like, so I'm walking back and forward with a bodyguard. I'm walking back and forward to the stage with a fucking bodyguard. And I'm just thinking, this is shit. You know, this is unbelievably shit. I don't want to live like this. Not to mention, you know, all the FGC stuff. Had people that I'd put on television tell me, I can't be seen with you in public. It's too dangerous. Like, all right, I guess. Got invited to an FGC event, you know, in Atlanta, and couldn't go because there was a guy sending a picture of him holding a fucking shotgun saying it's on site. If I say, yeah, I'm just going to unload into you. Send pictures like that, just on the internet, you know. No bother. So after putting up with that for 2 years and being called a fucking Nazi the entire time, I thought, you know what? I don't want to do events anymore. It's not like you make amazing money. I mean, even me at the top of the game, I could command. I mean, I don't even know. I'll just say what my fucking deal is. I don't care. You know, if you want me to host an event, I'll typically charge you $2,000 a day, right? And you're going to go Richard out and you say that's not amazing money. I'm just saying, when you add up all the days and you add up all the hours, you know, it's good. It's entertainment money. But You know, it's fucking, I can take or leave that. So, and then keep in mind, that's negotiable. It's not like I was always earning that. So anyway, I just quit going to events. That's it. Never been fired. And I got invited to tons. I've had, again, I don't want to talk out of school, so I won't. But I had tons of events, offers, and I just said, I'm not doing them, sorry. I rejected them all. And I could have been at some big events, and obviously now COVID's hit, I'm still being asked if I want to do online appearances. I'm like, nah, I'm getting back into the game this year, though. And now, funnily enough, I'm in negotiations, without giving too much away, to do my commentary for Rocket League. So remember those deranged fanboys, right? So you guys don't know, people in the business, they're like me, and they can identify talent, right? So, and I've got that. The end. It's okay to say it. Don't make you arrogant. And I've already said, because this is where it changes. After Maria passed away, I don't place as high a value on my life. Before, the prospect of getting killed and leaving a dependent behind wasn't very good. Now I have no dependents. I got no family. So if I get fucking killed by a lunatic fan, it's not as big a deal to me. Like, that is the honest truth about how I feel. So I've said, yeah, put me back in events. I'll go to all of them. I'll fly. I'll come here. And so, I'm getting invited to events again. I'll be back on a fucking stage, Philat. Don't you worry about it, mate. Don't you worry about it. And I'll also tell you this. There'll be no fucking bodyguards, mate. So I'll say it a million times. You want to be the fucking change and you're some little bitch threatening me online, come talk to me. Come fucking talk to me. Man the fuck up. All of you. It's fucking pathetic, frankly. You keyboard warrior pussies. So I've said it, I'll go anywhere, I'll do any event. You do not fucking frighten me, boys. Fucking come to Brazil, Caralho, come to Russia, come to this, come to that, we're gonna come to you, we're gonna, fucking, no, you won't do nothing. You'll do absolutely fucking nothing, I guarantee it. So shut the fuck up. So anyway, hope we've cleared all of that at once and for all. Never been fired. And next time you tell that lie in public, Vilat, it won't be me coming at you on Twitter. It'll be my lawyers coming at you. And I'll take you to the fucking cleaners, you silly little cunt. So, this guy has the absolute audacity to be chuntering on, right? He accused me of hate speech. He accused me of hate speech, right? I like, this guy is all... Let me show you what he actually said, because this will blow your mind. Now, keep in mind, I've just reeled off, right, all the death... how I went through 2 years of just being threatened and getting death threats and everything else, right? So let me show you this comment he made. Where is it? Sorry, because it's all in Russian. Right, we save that one for later. I'll show you that. Right. Here you go. So, somebody said to him, Richard Lewis quit going to events because of all the fucking hate speech. Because of all the fucking hate he got and all the abuse. And so and the death threats. And he literally said, right? It's understandable that he gets death threats. So much hate speech. There it is. So it's Vilat's professional opinion that it's okay for people to threaten to kill me because I say things like Na'Vi, like Blade is a shit coach. That's his official professional stance. And so I say to him, where's all this hate speech? And he says, scroll your Twitter. Almost every tweet is pure hate, nothing but hate and insults. Yes, aimed at you. Aimed at you. A pathetic grown man having a fucking meltdown on Twitter because I insulted the video game team you like in your mind. Right? I explained to him what the legal definition of hate speech is, and he had the nerve, right? He had the actual nerve. He turned around and said, sorry, I don't speak English. I don't even know what defamation is. So, little pro tip for you. If you don't know what words mean, try not using them, you silly, you fucking bellend. Number 2, in an earlier tweet, he was boasting and bragging about how he speaks 4 languages, including English fluently. Like, you can't make this up. It's like a fucking troll. It's like I'm being trolled by you have to work so hard. You have to be so smart to be this stupid. Now, let me just also, right? I probably can't show you the rest of this tweet that I made, but the idea that this guy is going to accuse me of hate speech is ridiculous, because it took me 2 seconds of Googling to find he'd been racist against Japanese people, hadn't he? Of course he had. Of course he had, because it's like these cunts don't fucking use their brain. So you can see that on my Twitter, right? Racist to the Japanese. He also called someone, quote, let me read it here. He called, during a stream where he was commentating on a game, he called a player a fucking cripple. He also had said that Eternal Envy has, like, mental problems. So, like, let me just show you what he had the audacity to say. Like, it's bonkers, right? Richard, it is not okay to call people cretins, morons, and idiots. Now, by the way, he's completely wrong here, because if someone is a cretin, a moron, or an idiot, and in his case, he ticks the box for all 3, it's perfectly fine to call them that. In fact, it's necessary that you call them that. Society can't function if we have to pretend morons aren't morons. Right? You will never get a normal answer from a person you are insulting, and you are constantly trying to insult me. Like a 14-year-old boy from Twitch. Maybe that's okay in your home or family, but it's not okay in the CIS region. Really, motherfucker? Really? Really? You guys don't insult people there. You being racist against the Japanese on a stream. You calling people fucking cripples. You're going to lecture me. Like, try to play that moral high ground. That is pathetic. It's so pathetic. You absolute fucking clown. And just before we get into the incontrovertible evidence that it's very much okay to do these things in the CIS region, let me also just bring in the cameo, right? Because I told him, I made it abundantly clear, if he kept lying about me, right? I just don't fuck about. I'll torch you on Twitter because you're not as smart as me. Like, and then I've got money, mate. I'll just fucking send lawyers your way. If you want to get jammed up with that shit, let's do it. I don't even give a fuck. You know, if you wanna just keep saying false and defamatory things about me, like that's how I play now. You know, I've brought a publication to its fucking knees. You're nothing. You're small time. I made PC Games and do an official retraction and apology, and they even offered to pay me to write an article for them, telling my side of the story. I broke them in half with my legal team. Like, if you want to fuck about, mate, let's do it. Doesn't even have to be Twitter fingers, mate. So anyway, look at this for a fucking cameo. Right? Look at this for a fucking cameo. I couldn't even believe it, mate. Of all the cameos to come in. Oh, it's so outrageous. Hang on, I've got to scroll through all of this. I had some other commentator, like, teeing off as well. Like, fuck me. Here we go. Right. So. Here he is. I have to correct myself. Richard Lewis was not fired by anyone. He's just not being hired by anyone anymore. I've got a feeling this is going to age like milk, mate. But let's see. Maybe because he's not a journalist anymore. Right, but a default attention-seeking loser that can only generate hate and insults to get more views at his pathetic channel. Yeah, definitely not like you, Mr. fucking Centre of Attention. Mr. Never kept a fucking secret in all his life. Mr. fucking strong-arming people in the CIS region so you have the fucking lockdown on all the broadcasts. Mate, there's skeletons in your closet I ain't even touched yet, by the way, Villa. Like, oh, mate. You made a good friend today, son. I can't wait. I can't wait. But anyway, just imagine this guy. A guy so bitch-made, he's met me in public, and we've just been like, yeah, you are. Like, since, and been, you all right, mate? Yep, sound. And he's done this. He's done googly eyes, hasn't he? He's done fucking googly eyes like, ooh, check this out. No engagement as well, by the way, you washed up cunt. I noticed that. And I'm just like, you can't be serious. Why would you want to relive what must be one of the most embarrassing fucking moments in your life? Why would you want to keep coming back to it? Like, in his bio as well, like, I think it says, like, look, TI winner, living legend, CEO, you know, right? It's like, yeah, mate, and also the guy who tried to fight Richard Lewis and got fucking punked and got made to look like a bitch. Like, maybe just don't involve me in your day-to-day life, mate. Maybe don't keep bringing it up. Also, it must drive you nuts that my fucking hair grew back. Won't see me having to wear a fucking snapback everywhere I go. You know, it's just like, are you fucking serious? You can't be serious. Like, just let it go. I let it go, mate. I've let it go, and I got a way worse deal than you. You got pushed backwards in the old neckaroo, like, because you were trying to get wide and thought you could fucking do something. That's all that happened to you, mate. I had to deal with 6 years of lies. I had to deal with you at Alliance, who was owned by Twitch at the fucking time, in another fantastic conflict of interest, trying to fucking strong arm getting me deplatformed and kicked out of every tournament and all this other shit because you wouldn't let it go. I had to deal with just being lied about in public. I had to deal with journalists publishing provably false things about me. I had other journalists come along and say that I am a violent man because you, who was trying to be violent, were prevented from violence. No one's ever fucking called you out about it. No one's ever called you out about it. No one ever tried to ban you from events. And of course, because my community is fucking hilarious and I got more engagement, which I'm told the Call of Duty guys like, right? It's all about the engagement. We had that. Right, that's been DMCA'd now. Whole stream's DMCA'd because I showed a second WWE. The Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this bitch. So, and there was some other wrestling stuff in there. So, you know, I'm just saying, like, I'd just fucking stay away, mate. I'd just leave it if I were you. Now, let's get to the next part. So, as a result of me getting CIS media coverage for my outrageous opinions, and then having Villat come out and say, he's been fired from everywhere, everyone hates him, no one wants to work with him. Like, mate, fucking don't even start. I'll make your life unbelievably difficult, son. I'll tell you now. And also, take this to the bank, right? Like, the things you've said and the things you've done, you don't want somebody over here on this side of the pond who does speak English fluently, unlike you, apparently, coming out and just making sure all the right people know about all your many sins every fucking single day of your life. You don't want that, mate. It'll be such a pain in the ass. Like, if you want to go toe-to-toe on fucking skeletons and start talking about who's got what going on in their past, like, mate, all of my fucking sins are out front and center. No secrets for me, son. Let's do it. You fucking crazy bastard, mate. You don't want to do it, mate. It can only hurt you. So how about this? I've done you a solid. I blocked you on Twitter. Just fucking zip it, mate. Just fucking zip it. Zip it. Don't embarrass yourself again. Don't tell any lies again. I'll deal with 3 days of your little fucking army of peasants, you know, just yapping at me like fucking newly born dash huns. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. Threatening to fucking kill me, threatening to rape me, all of that, mate. Fucking, I brush my teeth with that, mate. Fucking hell, that's out. But you want to keep fucking talking smack and lying about me and saying I can't get hired and no one wants to work with me and he's weird and all this shit, mate. I'll fucking, mate, you will not believe how bad it'll get in a war of words with me. You don't want to bother. I don't stop. So, that being said, why don't we have a look at some of the outrageous insults? Because even though the CIS region, apparently, according to Villat, would never engage in insults. And I know, you know, the Russians are known for being very delicate and not expressing their opinions. Right? The first thing I noticed was, wow, wait, getting a ton of comments on the By the Numbers VOD, but a lot of dislikes. How bizarre. Wonder what's... Oh, right, yeah, it's the Russians. So, just to show you a little snapshot, because hilariously, what YouTube does is, if your video's getting a lot of engagement, it does like a little party popper effect in your studio. If you don't have YouTube, you might not know this. It does like a little party popper effect, like, yeah, like little fireworks, you know, and it said to me, you are getting congratulations, your most recent video is getting more engagement than normal. Right, why don't we have a look at that engagement and judge whether or not it's fucking worth it, shall we? Right? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I don't even know what some of this says, by the way. So some of this is mental in Russian. I don't read Russian. So Twitch, you know, when you invariably ban me for something, I don't even know what it says. Like, so yeah, 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 yeah. They really tried to get this hashtag "fuck you, Richard." They couldn't decide. They couldn't decide on whether it should be hashtag "fuck you" or hashtag "fuck you." So that really you should have whatever Discord you were on, you little goblins. You should have coordinated that first. Like, it's very hard to get a hashtag trending if you can't even fucking spell it correctly the same. You gotta fucking, you know, you gotta plan better. And then just, I don't even know what that is. And then just F Richard Lewis fire. So that's that, and of course Thorin just immediately went, "This is how I win," because he just fucking loves it, doesn't he? Like, he's just so like he's beyond like he's so ridiculous. Even though they're all saying, you know. So and as I said, that's just the ones I could screenshot and put. Like, mate, go on the video now. It's there. Just check it out yourself. It's just a wall of Russian abuse. I did see one guy. I translated it, and he said, "I agree with Richard. I'm a long-time Na'Vi fan, and I think something does have to change, and maybe it is the synergy between Boomich and Blade." I was like, "Yeah, good on you, mate. You're one of the good ones." So there was that. I also had a I've got to remember how bad some of these are, because again, with Twitch being the way it is, I never know. But let's have a look at this. Yeah, let me just see this. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, these are all fine to read on Twitch. So then I've had a number of, and these are just the death threats and the threats of violence. I had a number of like untold amounts of abuse, like untold, like, can't even count it. Makes me laugh when you see all these games journalists talk about harassment. Meanwhile, I've got like Russian psychopaths saying they will kill me at the next LAN event. And have you ever noticed when the games journalists say they're being threatened, they never have the receipts, do they? They never show them. Me, I put them out there. Yeah, come on then. Let's all have a laugh. So, Oh, but you're so thin-skinned. One guy said, I hope you get fucked up next time you leave your house. And I said, who's going to fuck me up like? And he went protected. Immediately like, who are these bitches? This is what I mean. It's like, come on, like, you can't be like this. Right, so here you go. Choose your fighter, right? Let's go through them. You fucking shit. Fuck your daughter and all your family. I'll see you burn in hell. Right? So, okay. From your worst nightmare there. Hellboy, bit of a thing. Bit edgy in it. Fuck me, where'd I put my water? Whatever. Get that in a sec. Shut the fuck up, son of a bitch. You will literally die at next LAN match by Na'Vi hands. Now, I don't know if he means the team are going to kill me. Or, like if Boomich is going to be there. I'll just duck and weave around that cunt. Tire him out. I don't know if they mean the Na'Vi team are gonna get me, or if he means if he means that like Na'Vi fans are gonna do it, and like because fans are mental, and so a lot of fans they do think they're in the team. That's part of the problem with the fandoms. Vishnu, Maine, you will be paid for your words. Better think twice next time. So, now, there's a lot going on here. I am available for freelance work. My Deserto contract doesn't preclude me from doing that. So, if you do want me to write an opinion piece on your website, which I imagine is Reeler and Reeler, I am available. I will take the job. But also, perhaps, maybe, because I know Liverpool haven't been doing too well lately, I can't help but feel maybe this was aimed at Sadio Mane. And in which case, I say, how dare you? I think he's a fantastic player. Then this. Hey, man, if you are not Joker and you think what you say, you must die. I swear to God, lol. More worster analytic than you, I never see. I swear you must die. Swear to God. And, yeah, I like that. It's got religious fanatic overtones. I like it. No, I just... Then, later in the day, you can see I did this as the choose your fighter meme. But then I also had a secret character that we unlocked. This guy came from nowhere. Hang on, I'll take my camera off here. Some kind of cock that didn't get a shit, right? What did you win except for a member, that means a penis member, of your boyfriend? You're lucky you don't live in the CIS. You would have been taught to answer for words from an early age, and then you're cool if the police are the police. You're fucked, man, and happy about it. So... Now, I've had some very poetical threats lately, you know, and yeah, a lot of them have come from the CIS region for just reasons I don't understand and can't comprehend. But some kind of cock that didn't get a shit. That's just it, isn't it? That is, you know, he's done me there, I think. Because on a real profound level, you know, sometimes I do feel like some kind of cock that just didn't get a shit. I'm just a cock wandering, a shitless cock, basically. And will I ever get my shit as a cock? I don't know. I really don't. The sad life of a shitless cock. So, yeah, then you know, there was just madness. I mean, let me just see if this one's suitable, because again, very sexually aggressive. A lot of these. A lot of this abuse that came out very weird. What about this one? No, that wasn't it. Yeah, here we go. Right. Yeah. So this guy decided to go straight to a homoerotic power fantasy, which, you know, each to their own, I suppose. Very strange line of insulting here from this guy. Here it is. It's interesting. What will you do when CIS fans goes fuck your mouth instead your boyfriend, screaming that Blade are a clown? What if it's going to be Blade himself, by the way? So in that guy's world, what he wants to have happen is I go to an event and get mobbed by CIS fans that fuck my mouth. But ultimately, what he would really like is for Blade to be the one doing it. So, yeah. All right. There are videos you can watch. You know, you don't have to come at me and imagine it, you know, with me and esports guys. Like, you know. You can... So, those were the lunatics. And, dudes, like, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of that, and still going. Like as I've explained before, but I'll regurgitate this because I'll probably turn it into a YouTube video. You have 2 tiers in your DMs on Twitter if you have DMs open. You have your top tier, which are recognized users, verified users, people you follow, people, that kind of thing. And then you have the other tier, which is just the rabble, people who follow you, randoms. And once a day, maybe every couple of days, I'll go into the rabble section because sometimes people try and contact me for stories or, they want to share something. Or have you seen this? Somebody sent me a video the other day of Smooya breaking COVID curfew, apparently. They said, look at this. He's just out driving, breaking curfew and that. Don't really care about that. But, someone did send me that. I'm like the politician you always wanted. I just fight on the issues. So anyway. So I've had a ton of them. And they're just rolling in. I mean, even over the course of the stream, just getting more. I'll just read you one now. This, here you go. This is literally brand new. I'm just gonna screenshot this. And you can just... This guy has basically designed the worst sitcom of all time. So this is literally just come in while I've been doing this stream. So this just give you an idea of how constant it is. There we go. I'll just open it as a screenshot. So here it is. The worst sitcom ever. How I Stabbed Your Fat Mother. No one's watching that. No one's watching that sitcom. So that's what I'm getting. Like, just so you know, right? And again, all of this is happening because I said, yeah, maybe Blade isn't a good coach and maybe Boomich isn't a very good IGL. Like, you need to keep that in the back of your mind. This isn't like I've done a Duncan and like teed off on a whole scene. I have expressed a brief opinion in a 3-hour-long podcast about a team, which is what we do in the podcast. So anyway, yeah. So I'm still getting that. But just for the sake of the bit, there was also Deemer. I don't know if you remember him. You probably don't. He used to play on Team Spirit, but not the good version of them. You ever heard of this guy? Right? He basically, obviously is like a friend of Villa or something, and he decided he wanted to chime in. So we just, people haven't got the Twitter banter levels. You can see he's gone, take a pills, grandma, right? Take a pills, grandpa. Sorry, not grandma. Oh, whatever. I didn't say anything about you and him, but you insulted me. Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, I did. Right? And I told him he shouldn't focus on what I tweet. He should focus on his career because he's already failed in one game and he's on course to fail on a second because, he's already not making a big impact in Valorant. And if you can't do that now with all the washed-up CS players there, you're probably not doing it when people actually get good at the game. Then he said he did the classic, I didn't fail, right? I didn't fail and didn't say anything bad about you. But who are you that can talk like that to me? Oh, yeah, it's online. and you're not in CIS, and he's done a little muscle flex. And I just told him, like, if I saw you in person, I'd laugh in your face. But we'll never meet because you'll never qualify for a meaningful tournament in your career because you're dog shit. And so he kept on going. He said that if I kicked your ass, you would insta-cry. All right. And again, just, you do fuck all. 100%. And so, one of my regs, right, well, oh yeah, here you go. To be fair, right, I did wreck him here as well. I said, I'm sorry, I should recognize you as a pioneer because you've stretched the definition of achievements, the word, to breaking point here. And I just listed his achievements. As you can see, definitely someone who should talk down to me, award-winning journalist, recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Definitely, like, mate, he finished first in the Cyberbet Golden League last year. Like, you know, respect where it's due. You know what I mean? And then, just to top it off, I also learned, apparently, the phrase, your ass is on fire, is a Russian idiom for you're angry. They say your ass is on fire, like, right? Which is nice. But let me... So that's good. You know, I like that. That's something I'll be using. So one of my regulars, Ghoul Zapper, pointed out, this is a picture of the guy who says he's going to kick my ass, by the way. Careful, Richard. This muscle-bound monstrosity is going to kick your ass once lands are back. Now, you could Chinese burn this cunt's neck. Like, come on. What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing threatening me? Like, come on, mate. And I just said, I thought he went home already. And you can see I've invoked everyone's favourite childhood movie, E.T. You know, like, has everyone lost their fucking goddamn minds? Like, has everyone lost their goddamn mind? And the answer, of course, is yeah. Yeah, they have. Just unbelievable. So, yeah, very, 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 I mean, he's still going now. Like, look. Check this out. It's how dumb this guy is. I shouldn't clown on him, really, because it's like, it's not, you know, if it was a battle of wits, this cunt's unarmed, you know what I mean? Like, what? Right? Somebody said, like, Richard's very successful. You're a tier 3 player at most. And he said, I'm a pro player. He is a journalist. Right. You're getting paid peanuts to be shit in a video game. It does make you a pro. Fair play. I have real-life transferable skills that will put me in a 6-figure income bracket. As well as and I can also not work a job and be fine. But you win. You win, mate. You are a pro player. Like, you have done me. Unbelievable scenes. And so it will no doubt rage on long into the night. You know, they're not sending their best. I can read you just a few. What else have we had? This now the whole CIS region hates you. I think I'll live with that, mate. Wasn't going to be visiting Russia any fucking time soon. Don't really like your regime out there, you know what I mean? Don't really like how things get done out there. It's all right, though. You know, cheers for the offer, but nah, you're okay. I'll be, you know. Don't send any polonium over, by the way. But I'll be fine, all right? So, now the whole CIS region hates you. Just believe me. Everyone considers you a clown, and I think this attitude towards you is not only in CIS, because you are a real clown. You can see the way he set that up. As for Vilat, he is the best commentator in all of CIS, and you are just a non-entity. Please, though, make sure you tweet next time you insult players. And then he just left. And then an hour later, he came back and said, why are all English men so stupid? And that was the end of that one. So, not particularly great. There's one in Russian. I haven't translated it. Let's just quickly do the Google Translate. Let's... Close your pack, fucking analyst. That's what that one says. Don't even know what that is. Close your pack. I'm going to close my pack, guys. I need to... wait. My bad. The full thing is, you fucking mare. Like a female horse. You fucking mare. Close your pack, analyst. That's what it says. What else have we got? Yeah. Don't touch Navi, you stupid bitch. Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch. And then a thumbs down. Because he probably thought I was operating on the same intellectual level as him and therefore didn't realize his comments were insults. So he did a thumbs down emoji just to make sure. He really, hammered it home. What else? Oh, God. Richard Clown Lewis is a nice nickname. You should use it. Nah, I'm not going to do that. There was already a CS player called Clown. Very famous one from Source. Had a good frag movie back in the day. And, so it would get too confusing. What's this one? Still haven't got over how I stabbed your fat mother. It's just fucking unreal. Kind of funny you call yourself a gaming journalist, but the way you express your opinion doesn't differ from a random dude at the bar who knows the shit he is talking about better than everyone else. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we make it accessible. Yeah. Yeah, said that. Yeah. I would actually somewhat agree with your take about Blade's way of running the team, but the way you say it and the insults you use make me not want to take you seriously. I wouldn't worry about it then. I just wouldn't take me seriously and get on with your life. Quit bitching and act professional, Mr. And he's done the air quotes, journalist. So, yeah, we're getting loads of them coming through. Loads of them. And there's been some good stuff, too. I'm all right with that. Like I said, this stuff doesn't bother me at all. So... Somebody did send me words of encouragement. Somebody just sent me, in all capitals, never apologize to the mob. So, see? Fighting the good fight.